Hello everyone, so we're here in the casual room with the professor and up against cerebral imaging. Don't know yet if it's going to be a hasty deck, 7-point combo, it could be boom, could even be scorch. We've got a fan here. And this hand is total garbage, like there's no cards that we want. Let's throw back. Double diesel, can't complain. We will at least have cards coming out. Oh, he's playing my deck. Sweet deal. Let's see what happens if the professor can handle up to it. So it doesn't actually narrow it down anymore. I do have 7-point combo and hasty and the kind of Barham's version with the Smartfabrics. And he's chosen to not ice HQ first turn. So he might have no agendas in hand. That's probably what he's saying to me. So if he's playing that deck, the Parisha will be pretty valuable. So let's dive into HQ, see if we can get a pick on assembly lines, on Smartfabrics, on Jackson Howard. Oh geez, Vanity Project. I think if you have Vanity Project, you want to ice your HQ. Nice, get the Jackson down. That'll prevent him from like install draw 4, which is a good turn for him. Yeah, like sure we could have indexed him or even medium dug, but if you have the Vanity Project, you got to protect those as like the number one thing. So we could have a Fairchild 3. We could have the Rotor Turret we don't care about right now. Really, we could lose this. It's fine. I'm going to make him res. He has 9 credits, which is not a ton of credits. If it's vanilla or something, we can just kill it and go again. Yeah. Or we don't have to. This Parasite's almost better for a different ice. Since we have Inti and Paperclip in our deck. Let's look for something else. Okay. This is fine to have a setup turn. Since we didn't hit either of our barrier solutions, actually Faust counts too, so we have 3 ways to deal with vanilla. We didn't get any of those, we'll play the Parasite and go next. And we'll start picking away his assets. Oh, he's gonna ice again. Maybe we just draw for pawn shot then. I don't hate, oh, there's Paperclip, that's really good. This is actually good in this matchup, but you wouldn't necessarily think so. And I might play Equivocation. We can't discard Paperclip this turn, but this will make him hesitate to no res on R&D, I think. Well, maybe he wants to draw cards from R&D that we let him draw. I have to think about that. The art in this is pretty cool, which is why I like it. The card is kind of whatever. There's probably a better card for this slot than this guy. But with a medium, you can kind of pair it up, and it's like you have 2 mediums. Yeah, so you're effectively doubling your R&D accesses, but the downside is that the runner or the court gets a card. So this is actually a very neat card design. So if you have a card like RDI, it's actually very boring, and I would argue that it's not really good design in any way. RDI is just like it's expensive, you get more cards, and there's no real downside. So a card like this where you actually have a downside, and you got to kind of balance when is it good to do that versus not letting them have cards, to me is just really, really cool. So let's go poke the R&D. This is Fairchild 3, don't want to. I'm just going to set up this turn. And discard the Paperclip for next turn. So now we can go to HQ again if we feel like it. I don't know, I feel like this is a beefy ice because he put it on his first turn on R&D. I'm not sure in this guy. Still looking for Aesop's pawn shop. We're gonna have to make some runs anyway, just so he doesn't get his thing back. So this is presumably Chrysium Grid, which will block our equivocation. So we'll just be pawning this. That's fine. I don't think he can block us on HQ if we laundry HQ. So let's go HQ. If it's Fairchild 3, we'll click it. If it's Roto or Cobra, we'll use the Fairy. If it's under barrier breaking. If it's under barrier, we'll get our paperclip and pay through. But for 18 creds, I think he just wants to res no matter what here. The arrows are lined up wrong. Yeah. I think I had to do when they like changed the way the servers are rendered. So now like the upgrades kind of stack a little bit nicer. Okay, so that's one of the more cost-effective options for him now. We're actually paying 3 for this, which is a little bit pricey. But we will keep all our clicks, which I don't mind. We'll be able to play daily cast at the end of this turn. Mirror morph. So we didn't get a smart fabric. Nice, that's beautiful. This deck absolutely runs on the pawn shop, so if you can find it in a timely fashion, your draws is a good. And if you don't, you just kind of flail about helplessly while you don't have any money. I tried to make the programs cost relatively little in this deck. So I'm playing a lot of zero cost stuff just so I can play it if my pawn trap doesn't appear. So we have options here. We can pawn this to get an extra $1, but in fact, we're going to have pawn targets for the rest of the game, so I'm going to let it just expire. And I don't want to trash Chrysium at any point, so we'll just get rid of the equivocation. That's fine. It's going to free our MU up. He's making another remote, and I'm not totally sure I follow why he makes another remote. But in any event, I think we just set up this turn. We get the medium. It's kind of whatever. Okay, let's get ready to kill this bastion. At least make it cheaper to go through, right? And we'll have our pawn shop target. So for 2 turns we can pawn this. By that time we'll have something else to pawn. We can even like scavenge something else to get more targets. So we're not going to run out of pawn shop fodder. Yeah, subliminal. I forgot he had that in the bin. We should have maybe run. But we might have ended up like running R&D first click, clicking a Fairchild for no like real benefit. We actually want to go to HQ, I think. So what is this? It's not common to make a remote in that deck. I think we want to run it, even if it's Fairchild, and use our Persia to trash what's inside. Like, it can't be an agenda, but it could be like Jackson. You can draw 6 next turn. Oh, well, you know, once you have your pawn shop, your money is not a huge concern. So we'll see what this is. This is like a bluff time waster type thing. This is the Jeeves. Yeah, so we actually 100% have to kill Jeeves. Jeeves is a beast. Okay, keep rolling these casts over. So this was in like an okay turn. We denied Subliminal. We got rid of the Jeeves, which is quite a good card. He can archive and reinstall it if he wants to. So there's certainly a bit of a game that can happen. This Chrysium is actually somewhat annoying for us. because we drew the medium and the equivocation really early, which would normally pressure us to like run R&D more. But I think maybe HQ is the way to go. Pawn this now. No, I'm gonna delay that decision next turn. So we can now run HQ for 1, 2, 3 credits. 3 credits total. Or no, we just pay 1 to give +1 strength, making it 2, and then we pay 1. So we're paying $2 to get in there. That's very reasonable for us. So let's see if we can get anything exciting. No. We'll just take a couple pokes, try to use up our Parisha, and at the same time get some sucker tokens to parasite other ice later on. The heart of the deck is really like a parasite clone chip deck. This would cost you so much to do in a regular ID because of the most wanted list, but we can play just 3 clone chips and parasite, and it's totally fine. I think the influence in this deck would be, I'm going to actually count it now. If you were like Kate, this would be 39 influence. Like 4 for Reaver, 5 for David, 3 for Parasite, 3 for Fairy and Faust each. It's pretty heavy, so we are finally getting value out of this ID. Doesn't mean it's good for the meta, because I don't think it's that great for the meta right now, but we're doing the thing that it's supposed to do. So do we care to go after this turn? It's not really going off. I mean, like, there's not really a ton of pressure. The game's early enough. This is going to be fine. We really just want to go Kate, I think. I don't hate smoke. So are we going to have icebreakers, or are we going to install programs, right? I think most turns we're going to use icebreakers. No, maybe we're not. I think actually we're not. I think we're going to use Kate's ability more often, slightly, because of the clone chip, being able to use it on the corp turn to install your parasite. Then you can tech a little more, like if you think there's going to be like Faust Siphon, and maybe you want to play Turing, like 3 copies of Turing in your deck. Maybe the Mother Goddess like idea is not good. There's various ways you can do the Ice Suite. We're taking a little slow here, but we already have the 4-pointer, which puts us in like a really strong position. If we just had like a 2-point food, it's almost like having 0 points. When you have the 4-point, you just need the second vanity to win, which would be pretty amazing. So I think this turn we just slam into HQ, go for the steal. He's got to have something in his HQ now. Deny Subliminal. This is Fairchild will click it. We can parasite afterwards and kill it in a reasonable time. Yeah, it's the Fairchild as we thought. So we'll just click that. No biggie. So his problem is he can't really keep us out of archives, right? From getting our sucker tokens. Man, still no luck in the Parisha. Some games this will be pretty juicy, right? I guess we killed the Jeeves, we killed the Jackson, so it's already been a sure gamble if you think of it that way. It's been worth $4 and we can sell it for 3 more, so it's kind of worth $7 to us. I think this is quite an easy include now at 0 to install. Scrubber at 2, you're kind of just using it once just to pay for itself. And then you're not even paying for the click you can use to install it. So Scrubber is actually worse than it appears, in my opinion, because of the 2 upfront cost and being trashable as a resource. Push, on the other hand, is limited to assets, but most decks have enough assets that you're still going to get something out of it. Seems like a bit of an awkward draw for him because he's having to discard down. Gotta say, I don't fully understand. He must have economy, right? So getting our Kate discount on the clone chip and then again on the parasite. That's that classic. The days when Shaver were really strong was because of this kind of interaction where you're saving on both ends of it. So what did he discard? He discarded Biotics, 3 of them. Was this the Fairchild was discarded? Okay. Did we pawn something? I actually could maybe pawn the Pusher this turn, but I want to get the full number of HQ runs in here. You don't want to like contort your turn to get more money when really the clicks are like the key resource of this game. So we discarded non-agenda cards. The density in HQ is now high. This is the perfect turn to get in there and just mess up his hand. Simultaneously, we're going to replenish our sucker tokens. Yeah, and there's the game. So he had a few things. I think maybe rather than discard, you want to just mirror more of a bunch of things that make us trash them. Even with the Parisha, it would take us a little while, and that gives him time to draw on other things. I'm not sure. And like losing the vanity off the first turn was also really rough. Yeah, sometimes you can't draw agendas, and that kind of sucks. But you do have a fast track. I think the second one wouldn't be not bad either if you found a way to squeeze it in. So Professor's getting it done, although we're not sure it was the optimal play on the court part. I don't hate this deck, but I do find it's pawn shop dependent. If your pawn shop is there, your money is there, and then you can just click to draw all day and you're fairly happy. I think Proco is probably really bad right now because of how easily it can die to breaking news. So the econ options are very limited for Shaper. They're like, options are like stealth is fine. Contract is fine, like career fair contract. That's plenty of econ. Pawn shop economy is fine. And other than that, it's like, it's tough without prepays anymore. Definitely tough. So I was hoping to show Reaver some play. We would have had a card draw every single turn. This hasn't been coming out as fast as I want, so I might need some more draw power in the deck. Maybe Quality Time would be okay. Earth Rush Hotel would maybe be okay. But before you get your pawn shop, you can't afford to really pay money for these things. So you're kind of caught in a hard place where you want to get your pawn shop. You also can't pay to get it faster. It's a bit awkward with the deck. If we were more into Faust, maybe we'd be happier just drawing and then throwing our cards away. So I don't know. But if you're more into Faust, you need to play Levy at that point, and that's another card slot, and you have to worry about losing it. There's a lot of like awkward things about building Professor deck. But certainly we've gotten some good cards for it recently. I think this is a great choice because you don't need to actually install it until they've paid for to make their threat real. And they often just don't even have it. Like a lot of decks have like a Cobra and that's their sentries. Or they'll have some tracer that you don't need to put a breaker down for. Or they'll have like an ET you can click through. So having the safety of this card while not actually having to pay for it is fantastic. And the price is right for using it too. So having this is great. It's a great time to have David because they've made Ice bigger and bigger and bigger over time. Like even like an Archangel now, Fairchilds and DNA Trackers all these ice are big and they cost less than comparable ice did in the earlier days. So definitely a value card here. And Reaver is actually really good too if you can get on the table. And then if you have the MU for it, right? So this tower's going to align a little bit, but you can put it on the Jin if you get that earlier. So we'll see. Something different anyway. If you're tired of seeing some wizard games, then you can see Professor do his thing in the casual room. Thanks for watching.